All right, yo, boys. Kind of like I just texted in the group chat. I was responsible for the preseason rankings. Rather than looking at everybody's teams and saying like, oh, this guy's projected to score the most points, or this team is really solid with their wide receivers, I figured I would do something a little bit different. When Dennis usually does the rankings, he does do something along those lines. All right, like who's performing well, who's performing poorly. But I actually, given that it's before the season starting, I figured I'd actually take a look at our league history and rank the power managers or power rank the managers heading into the season. This was actually pretty cool to do. I should be sharing my screen, so you guys should be able to see this, but it took a long time. I hope you guys would like it. It's something that I'm okay doing. Cam just messaged the group chat. It's something that I'm okay doing, before the start of every season. And naturally, given that this is the first one, there might be things that we tweak here and there. What factors should be weighed more than others, things like that. But just to get into it all. So again, this is manager power rankings. This is not based off of the teams that we have going into this year. I actually used the past 4 years worth of league data. We've been at it for 6 years now, but the first 2 years of the league, we were a 10-man league. The past 4 years are when we've been together, the 12 of us with everybody included. Like I said, the first year we did it, I think there was no Spencer, and I want to say no Ross. And then the second year after that, Jack left the league. We had Ross come into the league, and we also had no Spencer. So there was a bit of a swap. It made getting people's data kind of difficult because I was, taking averages and stuff like that, and it just wasn't working. So in general, it's the past 4 years worth of league data. Obviously, I want to give a shout out to Hayden and Matt. They won the league the first year and the second year. I don't want to act like those are, cupcake trophies or anything. They count. They didn't go into this power ranking. And again, if that's something that we as a league decide should matter, I think it should matter as well. It just made it a little bit difficult because it was skewing the data. But if that's something that we want to put in there, obviously I can. Since I've already done a lot of the work, it shouldn't be too hard for me to just add some of those accolades to people's scores. But in general, the factors that went into this were not just wins and points. I did the total wins for everybody over the past 4 years, total points for everybody over the past 4 years. Obviously, championships, second place finishes, and third place finishes were added into the score as well. So your playoff success. And then I also included the regular season scoring title. It's something that, I've been kind of caping for, just that, the things that we can control as managers are how many points does my team score, right? If I win or lose on a given week, it's difficult because I could play Dennis. Dennis and I each put up 150, and then someone's going to lose that game. And we could be the two highest scoring teams in the league that week, but one of us has taken a loss. And so wins is a little bit skewed based off, strength of schedule and things like that, whereas points that you score is directly in your control, whether you're starting players that you shouldn't be, whether you've got guys on your lineup who are out that week, just shit like that, right? So these are the six categories that went in. Again, it's total wins, total points, championship, second place finishes, third place finishes, and regular season scoring titles. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you guys is the data that I used, right? So again, I went onto the ESPN website, filtered through our league history. You can find all this stuff. If anybody wants to look at their numbers and has a problem or thinks that I grabbed a wrong number, feel free to tell me. But as you can see, you got the 2024 wins, 2024 points, 2023 wins and points, 22 wins and points, and 21 wins and points. I've also got the champions listed out here. So Jeff won this past year. He beat Jordan in the final, so Jordan picked up that second place. Cam picked up third place, and then the scoring title went to Jeff. So obviously Jeff had a strong year. Year before that, Jack won. Dennis came in second. I came in third and also won the scoring title. Year before that, we had the split champions, right? We had Jordan and Seth splitting it, so I gave them basically a half each for the championship, and then for the second place, Hayden came in third, and then Ross won the scoring title. And then the year before that, 2021, Jack won it. Dennis came in second again. Cam came in third again, and then Jack won the scoring title. So this is all the data that I fed in. Like I said, if you guys have a problem or think that I picked up something wrong, just let me know. I don't think that these wins include the playoffs. I went to basically the league homepage and then found points and wins for each team. So if there's something wrong here, again, just feel free to let me know. The other thing that this doesn't take into account is who won the Sacco. So if we want the Sacco to be like a deduction of points, basically a penalty, we can do that. Again, it's something that I think the league can kind of talk about and we can decide what the best way of doing this is. But for now, this is what fed into the algorithm. All right. This is a graph. I wanted to put this together because I thought it kind of showed some trends here. And people often talk about whether they're lucky, whether they're unlucky. Again, this is why I have points weighted a little bit more than wins. You can see Cam has the most wins in the past 4 years. So you can see Cam 36, Jack behind him at 32. Behind Jack is Jordan, Dennis, myself, Ross, Jeff, Bryce, Hayden, Spencer, Ota, and Seth, right? However, when you look at the points, which is the line above it, you can see Jordan is the third lowest scoring team in the past 4 years. So Jordan, it has a bit disproportionate in terms of his wins relative to the points that he's scored. Whereas on the other hand, a guy like Hayden, you can see 62.05. Hayden has more points than Bryce, yet the same amount of wins and a 300-point difference, which is pretty significant, right? Hayden also has, it looks like about 100 points less than Dennis, yet 4 wins less. So we're all pretty close together. I'd say there's a group of us with 26 to 30 wins. One, two, three, four, five, six of us. So half the league is within 4 wins of one another, right? So it's pretty even. You could also see the point totals is pretty even in that entire middle range. You got 61.90 all the way to 60.75. Um, another good example. So Spencer and even Ota have scored more points than Jordan, yet almost have 10 wins fewer than him. So the algorithm is something, if I just looked at wins and ranked us, Jordan might be on the higher end, but if you look at points, he might be on the lower end. So this is where something like an algorithm really helps come in handy and kind of, it sheds light on people who have done well with points, but might not have the wins to show for it. All right, so I admittedly used ChatGPT for this. I did not want to try to come up with the factors myself. It was difficult. Basically, what I told ChatGPT was, give me a fair algorithm to determine the best fantasy manager with the following data set. I'd like points scored to be worth more than wins. I'd like championships to be weighted the most valuable, followed by the scoring title, then second place finishes and third place finishes. So this is exactly what I told it to do. All right, I said, when you're done, basically give me the weight of each category that you determine, and then rank the managers in order from highest to lowest. So it then spit out to me before it gave me the results, which I'm going to go through, that it gave me the weighting system. You can see total points is worth 45% of the grade. It's the largest share because I wanted points to be emphasized the highest. Total wins is second most important at 25. Again, you guys, depending on the weights, it's going to help people and hurt people. So Cam, admittedly, and Jordan, who have really high wins, might be hurt by the fact that wins are weighed less than points. Whereas people on the back end of the league, like the Otas and the Hayden, if I remember correctly, who have good points, are going to be helped here because total points are worth more than wins. Championships, it looks like it says worth 12% of the grade. So championships was something, it's like if you have it, it'll add it to your point total. Same thing with the scoring title at 8. Second place finishes are 6 and third place finishes are 4. I will admit that second place finishes and third place finishes are weighted a little bit lower than the scoring title. Again, guys, something that we can change. It's gonna alter the grades, but for now, this is what it currently is. All of those categories sum up to 100%. All right, so in 12th place, we're going to get into the rankings. We obviously have 12 through 9, then I've got 8 through 6, 5 through 3, obviously, then 1 and 2. So I'm going to kind of go in order. So I also asked ChatGPT to give me basically a 3-sentence summary for each of the players, and then look at trends, look at things like that. Just kind of give me a summary of what's been going on. So Seth, as you can see, total points 59.93. He's got 1 year of good, or two good years of scoring, 1650 and then 1654. But he's got a really low year in 2021, dragging him down. Same thing in 2024 on the lower end. But it says Seth's career is a mixed bag, highlighted by a shared first and second place finish, but dragged down by low wins and inconsistent point totals. He has flashes of competitiveness, but they're too few and far between to be taken seriously as a top contender. Right now, he's best described as a streaky manager who hasn't found his footing. All right, so that's Seth in 12th place. In 11th place, I got Ota. So Ota has struggled to establish himself in the top half of the league, never finding his way onto the podium. Despite some respectable point totals, his lack of wins and finishes make him feel like a background figure. Until he delivers a breakout season, his reputation is firmly that of the league's struggler. Once again, Ota and Hayden are champions. That stuff did not go into this ranking. It's just the past 4 years. So take it with a bit of a grain of salt. I think Hayden also has two scoring titles from our first 2 years as a league. So those things matter. I'm not trying to act like they don't. It's just in the past 4 years, and for these rankings, they're not going to be included in there. So 11th place, we've got Ota. 10th place, Spencer. All right, so Spencer consistently finds himself in the lower middle tier with few standout years to separate him from the pack. He hasn't hit the podium once, and his win and points totals lag behind the league leaders. At this stage, his legacy is more about treading water than making noise, is what the AI said. So if these things get a little bit critical, please don't, get mad at me. I just hope you guys enjoy this. So again, 10th place is Spencer, and then 9th place, rounding out the bottom third of the league, you got Bryce. So Bryce has shown steady improvement in total points, climbing each year. I think that's evident in the graph over here. You got 1421. Ironically, Bryce scored exactly 1421 the next year, then 1521, then 1606. So Bryce has been climbing. Yeah, he's consistent enough to avoid being at the bottom, yet never quite breaks into the conversation of top tier managers. Without a podium finish or a big breakout, his legacy so far is solid but unspectacular. So with that, that rounds out the bottom third of the league. Now we're moving into the middle third. At 8th place, we've got Hayden. So Hayden has had seasons of real firepower, most notably in 2022, where his scoring spike put him amongst the league leaders. As you can see, 2022, Hayden had 1670 points, which was pretty high for that year. However, the momentum hasn't translated into trophies, leaving him with just one third place finish to show for his efforts. He's a manager with upside, but still waiting for the year where it all comes together. In 7th place, we've got Jordan. And again, this is where the points really drag Jordan down. 1464, 1583, 1448, 1580. So hasn't cracked that 1600 mark yet. However, Jordan is a steady hand in the league, notching respectable win and point totals while sneaking onto the podium through a shared first place finish. Despite those flashes of competitiveness, he hasn't cracked through to a title. He's the type of manager who's always hanging around but hasn't delivered the big statement season yet. I'd have to agree. At 6th place, we've got Ross. This one surprised me a little bit, but you look at Ross's point totals and they're there. 1443, followed by 1733, 1670, and then last year a bit of a struggling year with 1468. Ross has showcased some explosive years, including a high scoring 2022 season, but inconsistency has kept him from climbing higher. With no podium finishes to his name, his best moments haven't translated into postseason success. He's a classic boomer bust manager whose potential remains more theoretical than realized. 6th place, Ross. 5th place, so rounding out that middle part of the league, is myself. So Nick is the league's roller coaster, capable of monstrous highs like his league leading 2023 points, but also inconsistent through the league. His podium finishes suggest potential, but he's still searching for a true breakthrough. I'd have to agree. If he ever strings multiple strong seasons together, he could quickly jump into the elite tier quickly. You can see the point totals here. So 1446 followed by 1532, 1765, and then a strong 2024 with 1610. So that's 5th place. Now we're going to get into the top four. So this is kind of what everybody's been waiting on. I think we're waiting on Jack, waiting on Cam, we're waiting on Jeff, and we're waiting on 4th place, Dennis. So Dennis is one of the most consistent playoff caliber managers, regularly finishing with strong win totals and high points. Twice finishing as runner-up, he's proven that his teams can go deep, though he always seems to fall just short of that title. His history is that of a perennial contender, respected, dangerous, but still chasing that elusive first championship. Obviously, here with Dennis, got to agree with the ranking. 2 second-place finishes. I don't think Dennis has a scoring title yet, but you can look at the points scored. Consistent 1545, 1509, 1619, and then again 1619 in 2024. So Obviously, Dennis, a strong player, takes that fourth place spot. Now we're getting into the top three. In third place, Cam. So Cam is a regular season machine, piling up wins and keeping his scoring totals near the top of the league. Despite making it onto the podium twice in third place, he's never been able to convert strong seasons into a championship. His track record makes him one of the league's most stable performers, but he's also known as someone who can't quite finish the job. Cam with two third place finishes compared to Dennis right behind him with two second place finishes. I think the difference here really is those total wins, Cam having the most in the league the past 4 years, as well as scoring more points than Dennis. Cam with the third place, obviously strong player. Second place, we have Jeff. This one surprised me a little bit, but Jeff really did have a strong last year, finishing with the scoring title as well as the championship. So Jeff embodies balance and staying power, consistently finishing with strong point totals and adding a championship to his resume. He doesn't quite hit Jack's highs, but he's proven that his formula works in both the regular season and the playoffs. When people talk about reliable all-around managers, Jeff is always in the conversation. You can see here 1449, 1553, 1597, and then 1726. Really strong with the points. Also, a newly crowned champion and our reigning champion, Jeff, in second place. Congratulations, my man. And that leaves none other than Jack Wojtowicz, the Green Bay Packer, in first place. You can't really deny it. Jack is the clear alpha of the league, leading in total points and championships over the past 4 years. His squads have dominated both regular season and the playoffs with a scoring title and two rings, cementing his place as the benchmark. If there's a dynasty forming in this league, Jack is its undisputed architect. You can look at Jack's point totals and they just kind of highlight what's going on. You got 1722 in 2021, which is crazy. 1681, 1653, 1717. So never a year below 1650 in scoring. Really impressive. Just for proof that I didn't collude, some people like to collude, Dennis. But the manager rankings, you've got Jack scoring a 92.5. He was the far and away the highest scoring team. Nobody else breached 85. So Jack with the 92.5 is head and shoulders our alpha. Jeff with the 84.2, and then Cam with an 82.8, followed by Dennis at that 81. That rounds out everybody in the 80s. So you have Jack in the 90s, three managers in the 80s, Jeff, Cam, Dennis, and then four managers, it looks like, in the 70s, myself at 78, Ross at 77, Jordan at 74 and a half-ish, and then Hayden at 71. Pretty good split there, and then everybody else is in the 60s. So we got nobody in the 50s, which is nice, but Bryce, Spencer, Ota, and Seth. And then I've also got a graph here that shows the manager scores. Obviously, you guys, I kind of started all this by saying this is something that can be tweaked. I do think it would be worth throwing Hayden's championship in there, Ota's championship in there, and then Hayden's two scoring titles as the superlatives. It's a little bit difficult with total points and total wins, given that, Jack has a missing season, Spencer has two missing seasons. I think Ross has a missing season, so it skews the data. But if we want to include those superlatives that I do think matter, I can rerun this stuff. It's just something that I want to kind of get started. Just take a little bit of the load off Dennis's plate. I know he often gives us really good analysis, and just wanted to, pitch in a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's something we can kind of bullshit about, and congratulations, Jack, Jeff, Cam. You guys are the top three in our league. Obviously, much respect, and obviously, this is a new year. So best of luck to everybody, and we'll see how this changes after the year. So see y'all boys, and ready for some football.